All right, what's going on, everybody? KB Card Stacks here, and I wanted to try something new this season where I basically want to highlight all of the key performances, disappointments, anything related to college football, and how that affects the landscape of cards with guys who have Bowman University, Sage, Leaf, Onit, any product, and kind of how the market will change, good or bad, as we progress through each week. So I would like to do this after every single week, recap all the games, talk about some of the players, my thoughts, general reactions, and all of that. So we're just going to go run right through it, kind of a podcast, more or less. There's some stuff on the screen that we can obviously look at, but just going to let it rip. So we'll start with Boston College and Florida State. This game just ended not long ago. I tried to tell you about Florida State this year. Not big on DJ Uyunglele. He was written off at Clemson. No one thought he was good. Goes to Oregon State. Thought that was good for him. Get out of the limelight. Do what you got to do. Wasn't amazing, but now transfers to Florida State and is supposed to be this college football champion contender. They lost 13 guys to the NFL. They replaced them with backups all across the board. I'm out on DJU. Just not for me. I had a tweet. I have no FOMO. I did buy some of his national cards. I'm like, all right, if there is, this potential that they make the playoffs, I don't want to, be without any pieces. But not great for Florida State. They've got Memphis next week. I think they do not have the offense to keep up with Memphis. So I could very well see them going 0-3. As far as other players, I don't think they really have any. Roydell Williams, 3 for 10. He probably is more of a factor in the passing game. He had more yards receiving than he did rushing. Not for me. Alabama transfer. He was in the mix, but didn't do much. Thomas Castellanos was not very great as a passer. We knew this. 10 for 16. Not terrible, but a lot of it, 100 yards. You're averaging 10 yards there per attempt. What is that? Closer to 7 or 8. Not great. Not a guy I'm going to buy into. I don't think we should think higher of Boston College because they beat Florida State, because of Florida State's just not. I feel bad for Norvell and all those guys. They should not have had college football playoff expectations. That's just not where their team, their roster was. They brought backups from Miami and Alabama, and now they're starting. They're replacing guys who went to the NFL. It just didn't make sense. Nonetheless, Thomas Castellanos, proceed with caution, whatever. Super electric, had 73 yards on the ground and a touchdown. Cool. Trayshawn Ward, actually not a bad night. Had the most total yards, I'd say. 3 receptions, 61 yards, and he dropped a bad pass, I think, in the very first drive, and then 12 for 77. He was ripping off some runs against his former team, Florida State. Then he went to K-State. Now he's at Boston College. He's got Bowman University in his Kansas State jersey, and then he's also got Sage in his Florida State, which kind of looks like Boston College because it's unlicensed. So there you go. Week 1, Florida State, and then it also has week 0, Florida State. Georgia Tech, we'll cover them later, I guess. Missouri, this one, the spread I think was 50, so great for Missouri to cover. Brady Cook, pretty disappointing, and you'll notice we don't see Mr. Luther Burden here. I was told he was the number 1 receiver in the draft on the boards. 3 for 39. He did have a touchdown. Didn't notice that, but against Murray State, I'd love for you to put up some numbers. Probably not playing the whole game, though. Drew Pine, though, led the final drive to to cover. So good for him. Drew Pine, he's got 3 years of eligibility, they tell me. So that'll be interesting to watch. I'm not buying. Utah, check this out. I guess we do need to dive into this. Cameron Rising, same amount of incompletions as he had touchdowns. 10 for 15, 5 touchdowns. 254 yards against Southern Utah. I thought Southern Utah was going to cover the spread. I just didn't expect Utah to come out firing like that. I think the spread was like 30 points. I don't know if it'll tell us somewhere down here. It won't. I think it was like 30, 33. I just thought they'd play a slow game, ground and pound, only 185 yards rushing, and it was through, 7, 8 different ball carriers. So Cam Rising, great game, and great game from Brant Kuthi. He's in Bowman Best 2023. 2022 Bowman Best, 3 touchdowns, 4 catches. I see him as a Dalton Kincaid type guy in that offense. I think he's the go-to guy. Dijon Stanley, 3 for 150, and Money Parks. I almost called him Cash Parks. Money Parks, only 1 for 4. You thought he would be the dog. Nonetheless, he doesn't have cards or anything. I just thought that was interesting. And then Dorian Singer, unfortunate for him, man. Started at Arizona, was all Pac-12, 1,000-yard receiver. If he had cards 2 years ago, I would have gone heavier on Dorian Singer than I would have Tetro McMillan, 100%. Goes to USC, doesn't play much. Goes to Utah. We hear good things about camp. Doesn't do much, 2 for 31. We'll see. Long season ahead. But Utah, good performance. Maybe a college football playoff contender. Oh, God, it already took me to week 2. All right, back to week 1. Kansas. Devin Neal. Great game from Devin Neal here. 8 carries, 112. Did what he needed to do. 2 touchdowns. Jalen Daniels, not very impressive for us, but if he can stay healthy, I think Kansas makes the college football playoffs. Super easy schedule. I mean, you start with Lindenwood, a D2 team here, I believe. No one else has cards. Oh, Kobe Bryant does. What did he do? I don't think I see. Oh, here we go. He had a pass deflection. Cool. Nothing really here for me. Disappointing, I would say. Jalen Daniels, I'd say, was a top 5 disappointment for me just because, hey, super electric guy. I would expect him, to go off and get a lot of touchdowns. Looks like they just kind of dominated on the ground, though. So no shame in that. But, of course, a guy like Jalen, you'd love to see him get, 400 yards total and 5 touchdowns on that. This is an interesting one. NC State, Western Carolina. Grayson McCall did not look good. Almost gave up 2 pick sixes, and one of them, they were tackled short at the goal line. I'm not a big Grayson McCall guy. I've talked about it. Just once Jamie Chadwell left, wasn't really about it. Not for me. Meh. And they almost lost. They had to put up 21 points in the fourth to break away and take the lead there. So, not great. Jordan Waters, pretty good game again. Western Carolina, not great, but 20 carries, 123 yards, 2 touchdowns. He did that a lot at UNC. Was it Duke? Sorry. Went to Duke. Just a stat merchant. Big games, 100 yards against all these lower teams. I get it. Who was their quarterback last year at Duke? Riley Leonard hurt a lot, hard to move the offense. Another huge performance here. KC Conception, freshman All-American last year, 800 yards, 9 catches, 121, and 3 touchdowns. Great start to the year. I hope he's in Bowman University. He's got licensed autos in Onit, which is great. That's, I think, the way to go. He does have a lot of Leaf cards, though. Those were about $10. Now they're up to about $20. Jordan Waters, I don't think really moved. I don't think a lot of people care. And then Grayson McCall, meh. Not for me, but I did buy some autos just in case because they have a very easy schedule if you want to go see that schedule. OU, Temple. Temple's probably one of the worst teams in Division I college football, FBS. Jackson Arnold, good day. Didn't have to do much. 141 yards, 4 touchdowns. I don't like Oklahoma's outlook for this season. They lost someone on the O-line, I think, or he had an injury. That was my number one concern for them, the offensive line. They didn't return any starters. They brought in a kid from SMU and a couple other good transfers, but overall, kind of alarming. We'll see. I think they have somebody big soon. Not Tennessee. Houston coming up, and then Tennessee. So, something to look out for. No one else. Javante Barnes came back, a couple touches. Joel Fruch, I believe he broke his leg. He's out for the year. That's unfortunate. He was in Bowman 23, and then nothing else relating the cards here. Sucks for Joel Fruch. Jackson Arnold, proceed with caution. I don't expect Oklahoma to win 8-9 games. He would be a very long hold. That's my thought. Whew, what a game here. This was a late one, the latest game on Saturday. No Fafita, 4 touchdowns. Looked pretty decent. Offense was rolling. Defense didn't stop anyone. It was close. UNM took the lead at one point in the second quarter. I think it was 24-17. Not good, but no Fafita, 4 touchdowns. All 4 of those went to Tetro McMillan. 10 catches, 304 yards, 4 touchdowns. Absolutely insane. His prices skyrocketed to the moon. His base autos are doing $100 now. I personally would not touch that. If you want to, great. I've been yelling Tetro McMillan to the moon since the product released. I would have never guessed his base autos would hit 100. That's just me. That's insane. I would not touch it. Sell it now. I do think he's the best receiver in the country. I just don't know where the price goes from here. All right, had to pause the video. I had a major coughing attack here, and I don't know how to mute my mic without stopping the video. I apologize. We'll get it working for the next few weeks. No Fafita prices didn't really move. It is what it is. He will be in Bowman University, so if he's someone you're interested in, maybe wait, but I imagine Arizona could be in a pretty decent spot at that point. I don't know. It's so hard to predict, and they've got Kansas State week 3 in Manhattan, which is going to be a big game, and that would really dictate his prices if they skyrocket along with Tetro. But Tetro, for now, again, I believe he's the number one receiver. I think he's a top 5 pick, but you're playing a very, very dangerous game when base autos are hitting $100. Just my thought. Going on, Clemson, Georgia, man, this game sucked for a majority of it, and it really came down to adjustments for Georgia, it seems. Cade Klubnik, rough, they just didn't have an offense. I just don't know how to assess Clemson, really. They're so tough. I just don't know. You don't know. But we expected this. We thought, hey, this is going to be a pounding, and they were actually competitive for the first half and maybe a drive or two in the third quarter. Cade Klubnik did not look good, whatever. Phil Maffa, again, I didn't expect him to do a whole lot. It is what it is. Antonio Williams, a lot of people are high on him. The talent was never in question. It's his injury concern. He has been hurt every single year that he's been in college football, and that's obviously going to hurt him. But he should have had 7 catches. There was a penalty on one and probably close to 90 plus, maybe 100 yards, just depending on how the rest of that drive went. I don't remember. But Antonio Williams had a pretty solid day. So there is that. Again, just passing-wise for Carson Beck, they struggled a lot. They just didn't get a whole lot going. Obviously, only 6 points. You kind of wonder how that offense looks without Ladd McConkey and Brock Bowers. I would argue Brock Bowers, one of the most important, one of the best college football players in the country over the last 2 years. So I'm a little nervous with how this offense looks. Nate Frazier, this is a guy maybe look out for. They suspended Trevor Etienne for whatever he did in the offseason. And Nate Frazier kind of came the guy that I've been buying. Roderick Robinson, he has turf toe. He's been out. Branson Robinson was supposed to get the start, the workload. Nate Frazier, freshman out of Mater Dei High School, who is in Leaf Press Pass 2024. 11 carries, 83 yards, 1 touchdown. Looked really good. I bought and sold one of his autos on ComC and flipped it same within probably 10 minutes. That was great. Receivers, Dominic Lovett, meh. You'd like to have more, and Colby Young as well. At least he scored, but not too much to be impressed with Georgia, to be honest. Just from a card market, no insane performances, I should say. As a team, great win. Smile Mondon, great to see him up there. And then who's the kid that had the pick? Oh my goodness, where is he? He had the pick. Oh, there he is. Malachi Starks. Did he have no tackles? Amazing interception there, though. And then Michael Williams, sprained ankle. He got hurt. Seems to be fine. I don't know who they have week 2, but definitely something to look out for. Michael, I am buying heavy. They have Tennessee Tech. I'm not even worried then. And then a guy that I have hopefully taught you about, KJ Bolden, true freshman, number 1 safety in the country. 4 tackles, not bad for a true freshman at a Buford High School. So Georgia didn't really do much to move the card market, I would say, but hey, that's at least a big hurdle to get out of the way, starting with Clemson. It is a game that you could have easily lost, in a sense. No one, I think, was really giving Clemson a shot. Slow start kind of gave some panic, but they broke away. Everything will be fine. All right. Ohio State, another scary start for them, I guess. I shouldn't say another, but another slow game that was like, oh, what's going on? Will Howard, you just do what you need to do, whatever. Quinshon Judkins, 13 for 55 and a touchdown. Great to see. Jeremiah Smith has cards in Onit. Those are going to be through the moon. Ohio State is going to buy them up, so proceed with caution. For me, you know how I feel about 5 stars and being anointed. He has nothing to prove to me. I've said that before he even played in this game. He's the best receiver on this team. Carnell Tate, good to see him in action. Very good. I like it. Miko Buka, I feel like, is extremely overrated for his price. Carnell Tate has autos in Leaf, and he is in Onit as well. Don't know if he has autos in Onit, but he has blackout cards. And then you don't see Brandon Innocent here. Imagine that. Very interesting. Tyleek Williams, nice. D-line, his gold autos are going to sell for $10-15, so nothing crazy. Denzel Burke, good to see him up here. 2022 Bowman. And do they have any? I feel like they've got an amazing checklist for Onit, so definitely some guys to look out for. Jack Sawyer, a guy who's going to have a lot of autos and best, so nothing crazy from Ohio State. This was a sketchy one. Oregon, I thought they were legitimately going to lose until that final score. This is crazy, but this is the Bo Nix effect in that offense. Will Stein, I believe, is the offense coordinator. 49 passing attempts, 380 yards, 7.8 yard average. If you do that per attempt, it's gross. They're just going to check it down. Very DJU type offense where he can complete a lot of balls, 2 touchdowns. You would think they put up 40 points with this stat line. Whatever. I'm still a believer in Dylan Gabriel. He's still my Heisman pick. At the end of the day, you would have loved to have him, 5-6 touchdowns against Idaho for that campaign, but whatever. 380 certainly helps. Noah Whittington, there was some doubt that Jordan James, I think, was going to play, or he was maybe injured. I don't remember, or he was being held out. So I was kind of looking at Noah Whittington as an alternative play in case he is a starter going forward, injury, handcuff, whatever you want to call it. Not so great. Tez Johnson, I hope he's in Bowman next year. Trayshawn Holden, 3 for 36. Nothing crazy. Evan Stewart, my guy, 3 for 15. That sounds about right. He's one of the most overrated guys in the product, one of the most overrated recruits in the country. I don't see it. And who else am I missing here? Oh, Jurion Dickey. I guess no catches. I don't know if he played. And there are no defensive players with cards, I believe. But Jurion Dickey, unfortunate that he did not play, but loaded wide receiver room. This is a gross one for Colorado State here. 59 passing yards. Not good when you have Torrey Horton. He had 31 of those yards, over 50% of your offense there. Not great, but Texas, I didn't watch any of this game at all because it was just dead. But not great. Not what you want to see, but again, you kind of understand that was a game where you just needed to learn. Quinn Ewers, good performance. Again, you had Arch come in, threw a little touchdown pass. That's good for him. I'm slowly buying some Arch. Just I feel like his prices are decent for the hype that he has and just everything that comes with it, but to each their own. Running backs, I don't think have any cards. They've just been depleted, so it is what it is. Ryan Wingo, the 5-star freshman. Isaiah Bond, good to see him score. Autos and Leaf. I expect him to be wide receiver 1, but we'll see. Jonte Cook, he's got autos in Onyx, which is not a product I talk a lot about. 3 for 56, I like that. Very similar to Colorado, which of course we'll get to, but they're going to spread the ball. You're throwing a dart to see who's going to be the best receiver, and it was Matthew Golden in terms of production. 3 for 50, 2 touchdowns. I would argue he's the 4th, 5th best wide receiver, but just happened to find the end zone twice on 3 catches. So good for him. Not a buy for me. I do like Jonte Cook. I like Isaiah Bolden if I'm buying into Texas. Andrew Makuba, how did he do? Is he even on here? Two tackles. He threw some shade at Clemson. It's like they don't develop. And it's like, oh, that's kind of on you, dude. They've sent guys to the league. All right, Alabama. I was wrong. I'll admit, hand up. I thought Western Kentucky was going to give him a game. 0 points. TJ Finley, he just tries to rocket this ball into every throw. Every throw he's trying to throw 100 miles an hour. It drives me up a wall. Western Kentucky, Clay Helton's brother. What's his first name? He's gonna throw the ball around. Look at Austin Reed and Bailey Zappi and all those guys who have come out. They throw the ball. I thought they were going to be able to at least put up some points, but apparently not. So TJ Finley, not great from a card perspective. I still don't mind Western Kentucky in general. Jalen Milroe, hey, 7 for 9. Do what you got to do. 3 touchdowns and 79 yards rushing. That's great. Let's see. And again, I thought they were going to be challenged all 3 weeks of their non-conference. Wisconsin did not look great. Oh, they get South Florida again. Okay, so Byron Brown next, and then Wisconsin. I think that defense, looks pretty legit. If you can shut out Western Kentucky like that, I'm impressed. People are not going to be impressed with Western Kentucky. That's very impressive to me. They sling the ball around and they score points. So kudos to Alabama defense. Jalen Milroe did what he needed to do. Cool. Ty Simpson, glad to see him in. I'm buying him for next year. Justice Haynes, nice 4 for 102. Broke off the big run. There was that guy in the meme who's leading him to the end zone. Jam Miller, good to see him go in the end zone. I didn't realize this. I didn't realize Ty Simpson got a tote in the end zone there. I'll have to go back and watch. For as much money as I have tied into him, I should know that. Jam Miller, he is in Leaf now. He's got some cards, so definitely watch out for that. And then Ryan Williams, 5-star freshman, another 2, Randy Moss looking stat line. Kobe Prentice, I don't mind him. Very cheap. I was getting a lot of offers on his cards. Jeremy Bernard, a little bit of a disappointment. I don't know. Didn't watch him. You only had 12 catches. People said he's the truth, though, so I don't know. Kendrick Law, he's in the Bowman U set for Bama. Good to see him score. I don't know what to make of this. Caleb Odom, he's in Leaf. He's out of American Heritage, I think, or is he? Ooh, no, is he? Is he's from Georgia? He's from Carrollton, yeah. Okay. He played with Juju Lewis last year. 5-star kid. He's had a good camp, so something to watch out for there. There's Alabama. Ole Miss, man. Whew. Jackson Dart, 6 total touchdowns. I think all of these were in the first half. All the passing touchdowns. Had one rushing as well. He's a dude. I was buying him early and often. I like it a lot. Austin Simmons. I've talked about this a lot. I've been buying a lot of Walker Howard. Austin Simmons. I didn't watch any of this game. I want to go back and see why they put Austin Simmons in over Walker Howard. Something to watch out for. QB battle for next year. Walker Howard's cards. Austin Simmons is not. He's a lefty. Big kid. We'll see. No running backs with cards here. Trey Harris. He's in Wild Card Mania, I believe. Solid day for him. Again, it's Furman. We'll see what happens. Juice Wells coming over from South Carolina. Hopefully the foot is healthy. 2 for 70 and a touchdown. I like that a lot. No defensive players. Okay. Another one that I was wrong on. I was convinced A&M was going to smack Notre Dame. That offensive line gave me a concern. True freshman starting at left tackle and a redshirt freshman who had never started, I don't think, at left guard. Man, that's a gutsy performance here, 23-13. Riley Leonard didn't do much. It was just a ground game. Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Prince going to be the 1-2 punch there. I love Jeremiah Love. Just some injury concerns. I think both of them had some injuries in the summer that was a little concerning. Bo Collins, good to see him. Hope he's healthy. 5 for 62. I don't like this wide receiver room at all. Chris Mitchell, your big FIU transfer who led the country in receiving or something to that effect. Not great, but Bo Collins, good to see him there. This defense is loaded, though. I hope they have some defensive guys in Bowman. Xavier Watts, Ben Morrison, and who's their D lineman? Oh, also, where's Chris? No, who's what? Wait, what? Mitchell, their tight end, Mitchell Evans, Evan Mitchell. Oh, didn't catch a pass. Okay, that's interesting. I think he played. I think I saw him. Connor Wegman, so overrated. Look at his stats, where they've come from. It's like New Mexico State 2 years ago and another FCS team. Not good. Nothing here, nothing here. Not a lot of guys from A&M and Bowman. Tyreek Chappell, I like him. TFL, he has cards in Bowman. But I was wrong. I was dead wrong. I was convinced this was going to be 41-17, 34-10. Good win, good quality win on the road for Notre Dame. I'm very impressed with Notre Dame. This is a game I was hopeful that West Virginia would give them a game. They did for a little bit, and then they kind of pulled away-ish. It was tight. I mean, another boring game to start, and then Penn State gets a cheeky underthrown ball by Alar at the very end of the half, and that sets them up for a beautiful throw to score at the end of the half. It is what it is. He's going to be a stat merchant. I'm not high on him. Bo Prabula got in, 1 for 1, 19 yards, and he had some rushing, 3 for 25. Nick Singleton might be the guy. Katron Allen down here, not very effective. Nick Singleton was him with a touchdown. Something to watch for. They're going to split the carries, but maybe Nick Singleton is back. Again, Drew Eller, not for me, but understand he's going to go in the draft. He's going to be a draft-eligible quarterback that people are going to say, hey, 6'4", 6'5", 240, rocket arm. Just prepare yourself. Nothing here in terms of, that was all they're receiving, huh? Harrison Wallace. He might have cards. I think I saw someone buy some of his cards. News to me. I was uneducated. Garrett Green, disappointing. He is an Onit, so I'm going to watch out for. Nico Markial, also in Bowman, threw a pick. CJ Donaldson looked pretty good when he ran. That average concerns me a little bit. It looks like he played a little bit better, did score. Jaheim White, I hope, is in Bowman. Same with Hudson Clement. Cole Taylor, brother of Mason Taylor, had a great game. That's pretty much it. Nothing spectacular there. Yikes. Donovan Edwards, poster boy. 2.5 against Fresno State. It's not a daunting defense that they're playing up against, so a little concerning there. Alex Orji, not the starter. Both these quarterbacks suck. I buy Alex Orji just in case. It seems like he's proving me right. Not a good quarterback. I don't know how you or Michigan evaluated your quarterback room this season and said, yep, We feel good about this. Nothing in terms of cards here. So Donovan Edwards, a top 5, the number 1 disappointment for me in Bowman. No one from Fresno State, to my knowledge, has cards. All right, Tennessee, Nico Iamea Lava, 3 touchdowns, cool. It's against Chattanooga. Dylan Sampson, look at this, 3 touchdowns, 12 for 124. Chris Brazel has Leaf Autos in his Tulane jersey. Squirrel White is an Onit. A little disappointing. I would have liked for him to, even if he just has one big catch for 40 yards, I'm cool with that. Brew McCoy, decent. I think he's a little overrated, but not for me. And then, honestly, Omar Norman Lott, transfer from ASU. It's from the Bay Area. Where is James Pierce? Did he not do anything? A game that I didn't watch. I just can't watch all these games. Interesting. Something to look out for. Nico, a lot of hype right now, though. They play NC State next week. I imagine they take care of NC State if NC State continues to look as terrible as they did. OK State. Alan Bowman doesn't have cards. Allie Gordon has those national pack cards. That's probably going to be his only card for a while. Solid. That's about it. That's really it. Brandon Presley, 7 for 35. Not amazing, but he is a reception merchant. He doesn't get a lot of yards, but he gets they throw to him a lot. He got a touchdown. I'm good. I'm glad. Ollie Gordon, Rashad Owens, interesting to see there. That's pretty much it in terms of cards. I like Brandon Presley. I'm very invested in him. I think he'll have his moments. Here we go. K-State. Looks like I think we're just going to look at DJ Giddens here. 13 for 124. He's the workhorse. Dylan Edwards, 5 for 143, but he did score. So that's interesting to watch. We'll see what happens. I don't know what to make of this backfield. I imagine Giddens gets most of the work, though. Avery Johnson, what is this completion rating? 67%. Great, good for him. He showed that he can throw the ball a little bit. Trace Spivey, Phoenix kid. Good to see that. Oh, Dylan Edwards had 2 touchdowns. Okay, interesting. Good to know. He is in Onyx. I think that's his only card in a Colorado jersey, unfortunately. Ooh, man, this is an interesting one. Cam Ward came out bald. First drive I did not like. First 2 drives just looked very casual and looked like he was playing with little kids in the backyard and just was making a mockery of it. Did not like that, but nonetheless, balled out 385, 3 touchdowns. Damon Martinez, that looks better than I thought. I didn't think he got a lot of touches, but looking at this box score, not terrible. Could have done better. 2 touchdowns from Mark Fletcher, though. That probably took away a lot of the shine. Xavier Restrepo, one of my favorite guys to buy, is in Leaf. He's in Leaf. Or no, Sage. He's in Sage. I just sold one of his autos. I'm a little bummed. 7 for 112 and a touchdown. He's going to be the guy. Unfortunately, Elijah Badger. Or no, sorry. Never mind. I'm really into Florida. Miami. I like Xavier Restrepo. Graham Mertz. Seems like he has a concussion. He's in concussion protocol now. Yikes, not good. DJ Lagway goes in. He did throw a pick, but he looked decent when he led a few other drives. Montreal Johnson, huge breakaway run. I really like that. I own his 101 Pep. Had a Sapphire, 11 carries, 106 yards, and a touchdown. Very solid. I think that run was like a 50-yarder, so take away from the averages there. DJ Lagway ran a little bit, and Elijah Badger, 3 for 46, 3 for 43. Not insane, nothing crazy, but he is in Bowman University. So, Florida, where their win's going to come from, I don't know. They didn't look very good. They're also playing a true freshman now, and he got first-team reps this week, or today, Monday, in practice. He has a lot of cards there right now. Something to think about, but very, very brutal schedule for Florida, and they need to make a decision on their coaching staff. Cam Ward, though, looks like he's number 1 in Heisman right now, just based off of hype, though. This was an ugly one. Another one. A lot of slow starts. That's why a lot of people freak out in the first half, and it's like, bro, let the game come to you. You got to figure it out. You haven't played football with this team with a transfer portal. You got to have some cohesion and gel for a little bit. It takes a couple drives when you're going up live against a brand new opponent you've never seen and played against. So people freak out after the first half. I'm like, bro, grow up. Cade McNamara, 3 touchdowns. You wouldn't have expected it, of course. It's Illinois State. We'll see what happens. And that's pretty much it. Not a guy I'm buying, though. People wanted him benched. Whatever. We'll see. Oh, God. We've only been going over ranked games. All right. We'll rip through it. with unranked games. I guess more time spent on unranked or ranked games is better, anyways. Miller Moss, Garrett Nussmeier, great performance from these both of these quarterbacks. We'll see what happens. We'll see. Garrett Nussmeier is always on these draft boards. He's only had one career start, and they're like, oh, he's a top 10 Heisman guy and a top 6 Heisman guy and a top 10 QB for next year's draft. I don't know how you make these assessments, but they're going to throw the ball a lot. Run game, meh. But John Emery, I think they found something in John Emery. I was expecting Caleb Jackson to get a bulk of the carries. Josh Williams, I think, technically started the game and obviously got more carries. But John Emery in the second half looked pretty good. They're waiting for that kid to break out for 3 years. He's in Bowman 22. Bought a lot of his autos. I'm optimistic. Kyron Lacey looked amazing. I saw he only had 2 targets in the second half, though. Not good, because he was looking amazing. We'll see. I don't know. 7 for 94 and a touchdown looks good, though. Mason Taylor, I got a ton of offers. I upped all my prices. He's in Bowman University. He was one of my heaviest buys. I really believe in him. CJ Daniels, reports have just been not good about him for the last month. Been second team, meh. Didn't create, I was reading up some stuff. Like, he didn't create separation against Oregon. They feast on a very bad conference, the CUSA at Liberty. He's in Leaf. I don't want anything to do with him. John Emery also had 10 yards there. Who else? Aaron Anderson looked good. Transfer from Alabama. Doesn't have cards, though. Garrett Nussmeier, though. I do have a lot of his cards. I sold his 101 for $180, I believe. That was a good sale. Miller Moss. I was buying a lot of Miller Moss. I tweeted a lot about him. I said, this is my dark horse for Heisman, purely off of Lincoln Riley's system. Boy, his system looks good. Only 1 touchdown to show for it, but he looked good in the system. Woody Marks, look at that. 16 for 68 and 2 touchdowns, a game-winning touchdown as well. Something to look out for. I don't know. I'm not, I was impressed. I was impressed with him, I should say. Quentin Joyner, not a lot of touches, whatever. Zachariah Branch, I have been picking up his PSA 10s of Panini Instant. Just an electric player. Another dangerous wide receiver room. It's a dart throw. You don't know who they're going to. Kyron Hudson looks like the guy. No cards. Deuce Robinson, 2 for 49, had a really long 38-yarder. I buy him just PC-ish / not even PC, but I've watched him live when he was in high school. Went up against him in 7-on-7s. Makai Lemon, 1 for 22. Cool. I like that. It's encouraging to see again with this wide receiver room. Who's stopping this? I don't know. I like USC. All right, so let's go to all FBS. This shouldn't take as long, though, just because these guys have cards. No cards. This is week 0. We can pass that. Rutgers, Kyle Monaghan, 19 for 165. He looked good, too. I get it's Howard, but I think he leads the league and the nation in rushing yards. Maybe. Maybe not. But he looks good. I'm glad I am the owner of a PSA 10 Sapphire Gold. Hank Bachmeier. He's in the very first set of Bowman in his Boise State jersey. I think he went to a Louisiana school. Louisiana Lafayette, maybe. Kind of got benched around, didn't do much. Transfers to Wake Forest. They said they were going to play 2 quarterbacks. And look at that. 3 touchdowns. I get it. It's NCA&T, but it is what it is. UCF, 457 yards, 454 yards rushing. RJ Harvey doesn't have cards. Penny Boone, good. I don't know who Miles Montgomery is, but now on my radar. KJ Jefferson did not look good at all. 50% completion. And had I think he had a fumble as well. Fumble lost. Okay, maybe not. Did not look good. Not impressed. And none of these guys have cards. I'm not going to buy into KJ Jefferson or Penny Boone. But I think this rushing attack is what you're going to see. His legs are going to open up the pass, but they're going to be running the ball. It's about all I know. No cards, no cards, no cards. Arkansas, Taylon Green went stupid in terms of prices. I get it. It's Arkansas Pine Bluff. They put up 49 points. They agreed to, I think, 10-minute quarters for the 3rd and 4th, and they still put up 70 points. He looked good, but it's Arkansas Pine Bluff. His prices for where they went, not justified. I'm not touching Taylon Green. I did buy some cards in the hope of, hey, it's another quick flip, like he's getting hype. We'll see what happens. Shaquinton Jackson does have autos and Onit, but it is his Utah jersey, so I don't know. But hey, people like this Bobby Petrino offense. We'll see. Isaiah Sategna, I did his commitment edit when he signed a couple of years ago. Fun fact. But Taylor Green, his price went stupid. Again, in terms of when I say I would stay away, I'm just sharing knowledge for you, though. When you see Taylor Green in a value bin this weekend or something, and it's like, whoa, Gaby, his Sapphire autos are doing $100 plus right now. His gold autos from Bowman Best are doing $60 to $80 right now. Those are his only autos. But if you see Taylor Green in a value bin, that's when you buy it. But do not actively go out and buy Taylor Green because you think he's going to continue to blow up. Calm down. It's Arkansas Pine Bluff. No cards. All right. This was 5.9 million viewers, I think I saw. Shedeur, an amazing game. Whatever, the defense, yada, yada, yada. NDSU is a good program. People are going to be like, oh, they only beat an FCS team by 5 points. Shut up. NDSU is one of the best teams in the country in terms of FCS. Your team would be pooing themselves if they had NDSU on their schedule. No one wants to play them. You should never schedule them. Bad. No. Shedeur looked good, though. Had some incredible throws, took some incredible hits in the pocket, was poised, leading his team. Bonehead play, at least he admitted it in his press conference at the very last drive. Just run the ball, the game's over. Dallin Hayden ending with the most carries over Charlie Offerdahl, the walk-on kid. They have no run game. They didn't have a run game last year, even with Dylan Edwards. I think he was their leading rusher with like 450 yards last year. They do not run the ball. They don't need to, I guess, with Shedeur and obviously their receivers now. But something to look out for. Jimmy Horn, hand up. I did not buy a single Jimmy Horn card. I should have. Been. I've said it all offseason. I'm like, no one's going to be the go-to receiver. They're going to, obviously Travis is going to be, I guess, the top dog, but LaJohntay Wester's going to have a game where he's going to have 200 yards. Will Shepard's going to have 200 yards one game. Travis Hunter's going to have 180. Jimmy Horn just was never, he was already there, and they said, hey, we're going to go out and get LaJohntay Wester, the leading receiver in receptions last year, and we're going to get Will Shepard, a solid starting receiver in the SEC, over Jimmy Horn. Jimmy Horn's one of the fastest guys in the country. 7 for 198. Did not buy any of his cards. I would not buy any right now. Each of these guys, though, they're going to get their weeks, though. I imagine that. I don't think Jimmy Horn is the number one guy. I just think it's a product of that room, similar to USC and similar to whatever other team that I was comparing them to. I think that's it for Colorado. Shedeur, though, insane. Travis Hunter, I think, is still one of the best buys, though. I think a ton of his low-end color and stuff is very affordable. No cards. Disappointing for the recruiting websites here. Another L. What do you know? Ty Thompson, a 5-star kid coming out of high school out of Phoenix, dominated a low level of football at Mesquite High School, goes to Oregon, sits there for like 3 years, never plays. I think the day before the game they say, yeah, he's not our starter. So that sucks. And then Mario Williams, Super Mario, 4 for 124, not bad. People are going to clown on him because he dropped from USC to Tulane. Be like, oh, this kid's, he must suck, right? You know, he can't even play. He's one of the, he's not fast, he's quick. He's twitchy. Is that? No, I thought this little player was Mario Williams. Something to watch out for. And no, who's the kid from Bama? No Shaz Preston. That's unfortunate. So something to look out for. Tulane. There you go. No cards. This was a disappointing game just in general. Very frustrating to watch. Very slow game. Unfortunate. Max Johnson has Leaf cards from his days at LSU, I think. He was LSU, then A&M, UNC. Broke his leg, out for the year. Very sad. Omarion Hampton's the dude. 129 yards. No score, though, but he's going to be in contention for rushing yards for leading the country at the end of the year. Nothing else relating to cards. And then the big news to me is Darius Taylor. He was 50-50, questionable, then 50-50, then they ruled him out. And they're saying he's still day-to-day for this upcoming week. Who do they play? Let's see. Rhode Island. They don't need him, but something to watch out for. Marcus Major. Interesting. They have Say Bangora, who came over from Ohio. He was like an 800-yard rusher, pretty consistent 800-yard rusher. I thought he was going to be the guy. I wish he had cards. No. So Darius Taylor. It's a loaded running back room. I love Darius Taylor, though, if he's healthy. Something to look out for. No cards. Okay, I think we're going to be Luke Altmaier. Shout out Luke Altmaier. Just skipped over him. I do top plays of. I probably have too many tweets to go through, but I do top performances. I skipped him. 4 touchdowns, very impressive. It's Eastern Illinois. Whatever. No cards. We already went over this. Ooh, no one has cards, but very Aiden Childs. They said he was like the number 3 transfer portal quarterback. Okay. Malik Murphy. He's got cards. Decent. Carl in the Discord was at the game. He said he looked good. Not a guy I'm buying. I'm not high on Duke this year, or who's their coach, Manny Diaz, but it is what it is. Disappointing. Disappointing. Tyler Van Dyke, another quarterback similar to Drew Aller. He's going to say, oh, Northeast quarterback, 6'5", 240, rocket arm, size, can do it all. He's my Will Levis type guy this year. I think he could really make a climb, but in an air raid offense, can't be doing this. Ches Malusi, though, found the end zone, and Toby Walker was pretty solid, so that was cool. 66 yards and a touchdown for each. And people are going to be like, oh, this is the Wisconsin ground pound. No, it is an air raid. Just, you can't have the execution like this and have it be called an air raid. Will Pauling, 6 for 60, had cards in Leaf. I like him. He's a dog. Weird quote by, who's their coach? Luke Fickell. He was like, I don't want him to have 1,000 yards this year. That's bad if we do, which I get. All right, we're on FBS. Going back to my place. Not a lot of cards here. I think we're just looking at J.P. Richardson, and he did okay. All right, here we went through all these. These are all just ranked games. Okay, here. Oh God, here we go. Another top 5 disappointment of the week. Kyron Drones and just Vandy. I'm not panicking personally. I did take an offer on my 1 of 1 just because I know the rest of the country is panicking about losing to Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's a very good, Vanderbilt's a very competitive team. Diego Pavia is a dude. If he were to have cards, I would buy him just for fun. He's not an NFL prospect at all, but he is as close to like Tim Tebow as you can get. 26 carries, 104 yards. Very efficient there, passing, and 2 touchdowns. He's a ballsy quarterback. He will take a hit. He will throw it late. He will chuck it in the air. He'll do whatever it takes to win, and that's what I like about him. New Mexico State won 10 games last year, went into Auburn and beat them. A lot of those guys ended up transferring to Vanderbilt following their head coach, Jerry Kill, who's like a special advisor on the staff to Clark Leah, or Leah Clark, whatever his name is. I always mix up his name. Not good. Just to lose to Vanderbilt, just from a national perspective, I'm not worried. It's like a Georgia Tech thing. Georgia Tech's going to be the best 4-8 team in the country. Very competitive game. I'm okay with that. But again, just it is what it is. I think the nation's going to be down on Kyron Drones. And then he wasn't in for the final drive. It looks like he was cramping. Colin Schlee from UCLA, who I don't think has cards, came in. Ali Jennings, 2 for 91. Solid stat line, but his touchdown came from a busted play where no one was covering him. So kind of disappointing. I wish that was like a legit, touchdown and 91 yards. But at the end of the day, people are just going to see the stats and not that actual play. But it was just a completely broken down. Nobody was on him from the start. So it is what it is. Roman Hemby, going to be the only guy of note here. Nick Evers has cards, and he's terrible. Came from Oklahoma and then Wisconsin and now UConn. I am very disappointed in UConn. They had a great transfer portal class. I thought they were going to cover. They weren't even close from the start. Roman Hemby did what he needed to do. Nothing crazy. Cameron Edge, he is in Leaf if you really want to do some deep prospecting. And that's about it. Onward. Louisville, Tyler Show. I mean, the talent was never in question. It's just he's never been healthy. He's had 3 season-ending injuries. I get it. It's Austin P. Austin P was absolutely rated. Their head coach went to UTEP, and they brought all their dudes to UTEP. And they had some dudes last year. They've been a competitive program, but definitely one of the worst FCS teams in the country. No other cards. Oh, Ja'Cory Brooks. I lied. 7 for 83, 1 touchdown. He was Bryce Young's top receiver when he was at Alabama. So something to look out for. And I think that's it. Moving on. Purdue, Hudson Card. He has cards from when he was at Texas in Bowman University 2021. I don't think of Purdue very highly, but hey, good performance. Devin Mockabee, he sells really well. He doesn't have autos in Chrome, but he has autos in Sapphire. So short printed autos. His base Sapphire, I think, just did 40. Earlier in the week, I'd bought a orange Sapphire for $21, so I was happy about that. Pitt, I think this is important. Eli Holstein beat out Nate Yarnell for the quarterback job. Kind of shocking. Nate Yarnell, a seasoned veteran, but Eli Holstein, another guy who's going to say rocket arm, all this, yada yada. I didn't see his pick, but they kind of were tight in a dogfight. Kent State had a touchdown on a play that they punted, kind of botched punt, or it touched Pitt, and then they scoop and scored, and that kind of kept them in the game. Eli Holstein, someone to watch. Nothing here. Cards. Brennan Sorsby. I've been buying Brennan Sorsby. He had 4 total touchdowns. 22 for 31, 383, 2 touchdowns, and 5 for 5. I don't like that the NCAA accounts for sacks, so I don't know how many were sack yards versus actual rushing yards with 2 touchdowns. Corey Kiner, also in Bowman, Sapphire Autos. He also has Leaf Autos from when he was at LSU. He's a Louisiana kid, transferred up 2 years ago. Sorsby, something to watch out for. They're going to be competitive. That's all they really got, though. Wazoo, I don't believe has anything. Curtis Rourke. FIU's got a decent defense, and I knew they weren't going to put up a ton of points. Curtis Rourke isn't amazing by any means, but did what you needed to do. Justice Ellison, guy that I've been buying, 10 carries, was the only running back to not see the end zone, basically. Both these guys came from JMU. I think Elijah Green's the number 1. I mean, 16 to 5 is telling. So maybe Tyson Lawton is the number. Oh, plus 2 touchdowns. I thought he had 2 touchdowns. I'm dyslexic. 5 for 82 and a touchdown. 10 for 68. Cool. I'm not advising anyone to buy Justice Ellison. It was just, I'm a believer in Indiana, and I think he could pop. Dylan Raiola, God, my worst nightmare is Nebraska beating Colorado this upcoming week, just because of Dylan Raiola hype, and then everyone just being able to poo-poo on Colorado. It's not that I love Colorado, I just hate the haters. Dylan Raiola, whatever. People are high on Isaiah Nair, though. From Wyoming, had Leaf Autos in his Wyoming jersey, transferred to Texas, and then I think was just hurt for both. He tore his ACL 1 year, and then in 2022 tore his ACL in the spring or in the fall, and then just didn't see the field. I think he was still hurt. Wyoming, he was a dude, had a good year, came over, 121 yards, hasn't caught a pass since 2020, or had only caught 1 pass since 2022, 1 touchdown. Maybe he's the guy, I don't know. Jamal Banks, 4 for 61 and a touchdown as well. Doesn't have cards, though. Not for me, Dylan Raiola. No cards. Joey Aguilar, good QB. I have a couple of his cards, and he did have 2 rushing touchdowns, 4 total touchdowns. Not bad for Joey Aguilar. It's East Tennessee State. I don't know what to make of them, but they should win their conference pretty easily, I imagine. Iowa State, Rocco Beck, not amazing. UND's no slouch, I guess, but it is what it is. Rocco Beck. Jalen Noel, though, did score. He has autos in Leaf this year. 8 for 135 and a touchdown. Very impressive. Rocco Beck, would like to see 3 touchdowns personally, but that's because I'm a heavy Rocco Beck investor. Kyle McCord, we'll see. I don't know. People are overreacting. I feel it's Ohio. Not very great. 4 touchdowns, though. Very impressive. People wrote him off from Ohio State. Good for him. I hope he finds success. And then Oron Gadsden, another guy like Antonio Williams. No one's doubting the talent. Very talented. They just can't stay healthy. I think he's already the best tight end in Syracuse history, and he's played in like 15, 16 games. 7 for 108 and a touchdown. Great. Cool. I'm not going to invest in him just because of his injury history, though. I'm also not buying into Kyle McCord. I just think at the end of the day, I'm not going to trust him. And I don't think I'm going to have FOMO if he wins 8 games. No cards. I think one of these receivers might have cards. Prod would know better than me. And Ontario Brown, a little disappointing for me. I think very highly of him and Coach Hammock in his running back history. He was the running back that had Jonathan Taylor and Monty Ball and all those guys. He was the running backs coach at Wisconsin and then came over to NIU to be the head coach. So I think very highly of him. I wish he would crack 100, especially on Western Illinois when you're putting up 54 points. But Ethan Hampton, 5 TDs, not a good quarterback, and he's dicing you up. Trayvon Rudolph, very good game. Part of my PC. People talked about him when I was working with NIU, and they're like, he's the truth. We're happy to have him back this season. He missed the year before with an ACL injury. 2 carries, 67 yards, and a touchdown. One of them was 60 yards. And then 4 receptions, 104 yards, 1 touchdown. Great best ball for fantasy football. Grayson Barnes, glad to see him. He's a tight end, doesn't have any cards. I'm just... I guess Ontario did have over 100 yards there. Not bad. So there's your NIU breakdown. Ashton GT. Has autos in Leaf. They're going stupid. I wouldn't recommend buying Cam Camper. Again, we're not questioning his talent, but just has never stayed healthy. 4 for 100. Good to see there. Our 5-star beloved quarterback Malachi Moore without any stats. I mentioned that they were in a dogfight. I was kind of hoping they were losing. Rocket Sanders, fine. 24 for 88 and touchdown. Nothing spectacular. Hope he's healthy. He's a 1,400-yard rusher when he is. Sophomore year, I believe, at Arkansas, and then just hurt a lot of last year. So something to watch out for, but very concerning, completing less than 45% of your passes there. No cards. Jaden Ott here, I'll highlight, like 49 yards and 2 touchdowns, and suffered an injury. He tweeted it's not season ending, and they didn't provide an update, but something to watch out for. I'm a little nervous for that. North Texas, Chandler Rogers, like 5 touchdowns. 3 touchdowns and 2 rushing. He's a dog. Another guy who cannot stay healthy. He was at TCU, but I love Seth Luttrell's offense at North Texas. Love it. 230. Good Lord. I did not notice that. Putting Tetrell McMillan numbers up there. Blake Shapen. People are buying Blake Shapen right now. Do not believe it. They play Arizona State next week. I think they lose to Arizona State. Did have 4 touchdowns though total. No one else in the card market though. All right, cool. Liberty. This was disappointing. Liberty was winning at some point. Caden Salter only 2 touchdowns, no rushing. Quinn Cooley does what he does. He's fine. He's gonna beat up on a very bad conference, and that's pretty much it. But Caden Salter, I've talked about this. I mean, they scored 41 points, just kind of all over the place though. But Caden Salter gonna be very good in that offense. So again, I wish he would have had like 4 touchdowns though. And I think that's very doable versus Campbell. Just a dogfight there. No cards. Jam Griffin. Shout out VDZ, my Discord mod. 20 for 160 and 2 touchdowns at Idaho State, one of the worst teams in the country. Shout out to Charlie Regal. And, he did lose a fumble. That sucks. Fumbled twice. Can't be doing that. Ball security is job security. So Anthony Hankerson might be getting more touches. Depends. We'll see. I don't know. I didn't watch the game. Depends how game flow went, I guess. Byron Brown is a disappointment for me this week. Electric guy. 152 yards. Oh, he did score. Okay. I thought he had 0 touchdowns. Even just 1, though, against Butane Cookman. You want him to tear it up and put up stupid video game numbers. So a little disappointing for me personally, but personal preference. DeQuan Finn, 2 picks. Not good, but that's par against Tarleton State. You don't want to see that. Just, he does this. I bought into him heavy last year and was disappointed. Richard Reese looks like he's the guy, but Dawson Pendergrass, and then they have another guy. I thought Pendergrass is not the kid from OK State, is he? Yeah, they have the kid from OK State from last year. Interesting. It's not Hagman. Monterey Baldwin, just 2 for 36. Michael Trigg scored. USC and Ole Miss transfer. You don't see his cards a lot, but he's in his Ole Miss jersey. I don't know who that OK State running back was, but I'm not a buyer. I think their coach gets fired. Donovan Smith. He was projected number 2 draft pick by Ian Cummings on Twitter. What's up with that? Terrible. Houston's going to be terrible. I don't think they have any other guy with cards. But I bought into the hype because I'm like, hey, if people are buying Anthony Richardson cards, they're going to buy Donovan Smith cards. Same guy. 50%, 2 picks, same dude. You can't tell me they're not the same. Sluka, not great as a thrower. We knew that, though. They announced that he was going to be starter just before the game over Malik Williams. 2 touchdowns and a pick, 71 yards, but he does it by the ground. Not amazing, but you're playing a Power 4 conference team. Get out and get your win. They were 3-point dogs, so I'll take it. No cards, no cards. Pat Garwo has cards, but he's not really cracking the rotation. No cards. Shout out Peyton Thorne. Shout out Mystic in the Discord. And Jarquez. We'll get into this. 4 touchdowns. Actually 5. Yep. He had a rushing touchdown. And Jarquez with hitting pay dirt. Cool. Keandre Lambert-Smith. Actually, he does have cards in his Penn State uni. Not a guy I'm buying, but something to watch out for. Cam Coleman, 5-star freshman. I hope he's in Bowman. That would be cool. But nothing too crazy. I'm not high on Auburn, but again, this is when I talk about disappointments for other guys when they're playing like FCS teams, like a Byron Brown or things like that. Jalen Daniels, I'm like, this is what I want to see, like a Hudson Card type performance. 4 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns, right? Put up 50 to 70 points. So that's what I look for when you're playing those teams. No, Ethan does have cards. He sucks, and I think that's it. Taj Brooks and Josh Kelly. We'll talk about both. Taj Brooks had a ton of touches because he had 30 touches and 1 touchdown, and that's not very good. Every 30 times you're touching the ball, you're getting a touchdown. Like, you gotta be in like the 12-ish, 15 range, dude. Not good, not great, but he gets a ton of touches, ton of volume. And Josh Kelly coming over from Washington State. He's got Leaf cards in his Washington State uni. Very good. Concerning that their little 5-star Micah Hudson did not record a catch. I don't know if he played, but they almost lost in overtime to Abilene Christian, which should not happen as a Power 4 team. But Taj Brooks getting volume. I like him. This game, they did not play anymore. Yeah, they didn't play in the 4th quarter, and I think they cut this short. Brock Vandegrift, hey, 3 touchdowns on a pick. I didn't watch the game. Someone said he looked a little underwhelming. He's a dual threat kid. Baron Brown, not a great performance. I hope he's in Bowman, but I guess we're just looking. Oh, Dane Key, 3 for 60. It's about right. So, sorry, I was kind of yawning there. Okay. No cards. Jerry Bohannon does have cards, but he didn't start. Jamal Haynes, all he does is just run and score touchdowns. Very good offense. That's about it. I don't know what to make of SMU. SMU, I was very high on them. I'm not anymore. You should blow out Houston Christian, though. They've got a lot of receivers. No cards, no cards, no cards, no cards, no cards. Jordan McLeod, 3 touchdowns for 1 interception. Ishmael Ahmadi in Leaf Vivid. I really like him. He could lead the nation in rushing this year. Very good. Texas State could win that conference, though. We'll see. No cards. ASU does have guys with cards, but Raleek Brown, I think, was announced hurt. I think he was announced out. And that's really all you're looking for here. Very impressive win. Wyoming cannot win on the road. Ever. And then I guess we're ending it with UW. So we'll see how long this video was. Hopefully not very long, but I imagine I was yapping a lot. Will Rogers only 1 touchdown. You didn't need to do much. It's Weber State, and go out and do what you need to do. Not a guy I'm thinking is going to put up huge numbers, but my guy Jonah Coleman, 3 touchdowns, 16 carries, 127 yards. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. He is a freight train, 5'9", 230. 5'9", 229. Former Arizona guy, they brought him over. He's the best player on that roster, I imagine. He's going to be a dude. I love Jonah Coleman. Definitely a guy I'm buying into. So that's everything. So I talked about all the guys who have cards, their market, my thoughts, disappointments. I didn't talk about prices as much as I would have liked to or thought of. But I think if you read between the lines, you can tell who I'm high on and who had good performances, who we'll see, and kind of outlook. So that was fun. I don't know how long this was, but if you enjoyed, drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe. I'd like to do this every single week, recapping all these games, seeing how it affects the card market. It's only going to get crazier as products release during the year, but I'm ready for it. I'm ready for this season. So that is all I've got for you. Peace.